All right. So today we're just doing some more word problems. Number one says, Ed and Marge were candidates for city council. Marge won with 93 more votes than Ed. The total number of votes cast in the election was 587. Find the number of votes received by each candidate. Okay. All right, so let's define the variables. And let's say that X is the number of votes that Ed got. Okay. And let's see. Marge has 93 more votes than him. So we could say that X plus 93 equals the number of votes that Marge got. All right, and the total number of votes is 587. So the number of Ed's votes, X, plus the number of Marge's votes, X plus 93, equals 587. And so then we can solve this. We can add X plus X equals 2X. So 2X plus 93 equals 587. That's right, subtract 93 from both sides. X equals, and then that would be 49. All right, and then divide by 2. So that would be 247. Okay, so that's why it's important that we defined our variables. So we know that X represents the number of votes for Ed. So Marge has 93 more than that. So 247 plus 93 equals, so 330, 340, 340. There you go. All right.
Plus 4 is 13.
Yeah, but you had to carry a 1 from 3 plus 7 is 10. You carry the 1. And you can also see that if you add 340 plus 247, that equals the 587. Okay. So Ed got 247 votes and Marge got 340 Number 2, the attendance at the Saturday night baseball game was 3 times the attendance at Sunday's game. A total of 5,000 fans attended the games. How many fans were at each game? Okay, so let's say X equals Sunday's attendance. And then Saturday is 3 times that amount. So 3X equals the Saturday attendance. And the total is 5,000. So X plus 3X, or sorry, 50,000. So X plus 3X equals 50,000. Right, X is 1X, so 1X plus 3X equals 4X. So 4X equals 50,000. And then just divide both sides by 4. Yeah. Okay, and then multiply that times 3. That's gonna be 37.5, I think. So X was the Sunday, so 12,500 fans attended on Sunday and 37,500 fans attended on Saturday. Okay, number 3, a 90-centimeter pipe is cut into 2 pieces so that one piece is 6 centimeters shorter than the other. Find the length of each piece. Okay, so let's say there's the pipe. It's 90 centimeters. And it's cut in 2. So let's say this is X, and then this would be X minus 6. And the total is 90. So we can just say X plus X minus 6 equals 90. So that would be 2X minus 6 equals 90. And then add 6 to both sides. So 2X equals 96. And then divide both sides by 2. So that's going to be 48. X equals 48. 48 minus 6 is 42. Okay. So the longer piece is 48 centimeters and the shorter piece is 42. All right, number 4, a wooden railing is 82 meters long. It is to be divided into 4 pieces. 3 pieces will be the same length, and the 4th piece is 2 meters longer than each of the other 3. Find the length of each piece. Okay. So there's that. So one piece is a little bit longer, and then the other 3 are the same. So we have x, 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 and then x plus 2. So x plus 2 plus x plus x plus x equals 82. So that means 4x plus 2 equals 82. And then we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. So 4x equals 80. And then divide both sides by 4, which means x equals 20. Okay, and then 20 plus 2 is 22. So 3 pieces are 20 meters and 1 piece is 22 meters. Okay, number 5 says a city park is a rectangular shape. The length is triple the width. It would take 240 meters of fencing to go around the park. Find the length and width of the park. Okay, length equals 3 times the width. And it takes 240 meters to fencing to go around the park. So that's giving us the perimeter. So we're doing perimeter, which equals 2L plus 2W, since that's a rectangle. And they told us that 240 is the perimeter, so 240 equals 2 times the length. So we're going to put in 3W in place of L plus 2W. All right, so 2 times 3W equals 6W. So 240 equals 6W plus 2W. And then combine the like terms. So 6W plus 2W equals 8W. So 240 equals 8W. And then just divide both sides by 8. So 30 equals W. And L equals 3 times 30, which is 90. All right, so the length is 90 meters and the width is 30 meters. Number 6 says Barb had a 16-inch by 20-inch photograph. She cropped 3 inches off every side of the photo. What are the perimeter and area of the cropped photo? All right, so there's the photo. And then cropping it. So it was 16 by 20. So what is the new dimensions of the cropped photo? So what would be the new height of the photo? But you took off 3 and then, so 3 from here and 3 from here. So that would be 14. And then the new width of the photo would be 10. So it's now 14 by 10. So the perimeter so 2 times 14 plus 2 times 10. So that's 28 plus 20. So the perimeter is 48 inches. And then the area, you have to multiply the length times the width. So 14 times 10 equals 140. So next we're going to talk about linear inequalities. Okay. So a linear inequality, the way if we're solving it, it's going to be very similar to solving a linear equation, which we've already done a bunch of. just one thing that you have to remember is that when you multiply or divide by a negative number, you have to flip the inequality. So if it's less than, you have to flip it to greater than. Let me see what we got here. Okay. So I want to make sure that you also know how to read it. So let me just give you an example. So if you see this right here, you would read that as x is greater than 3. Or I just said that wrong. How do I erase this? How about I just change this? So that says x is greater than 3, for example. And let's say let's try this. Y is less than or equal to 2. So the little line underneath it means or equal to. All right. And personally, I prefer to put dots and circles on my number lines instead of brackets and parentheses, but I guess the brackets and parentheses, that's how they put it on the homework, but so that's fine, whichever way you do it, I don't care, but I like to put, for parentheses on the number line, like I'll put an open circle, you know, that's how I've always done it. And then like for brackets, I'll just put like a solid circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Okay, so this is kind of showing a comparison, like for a linear equation, you have like one solution. So if you put that on a number line, it's just a dot. Whereas with a linear inequality, you have like an entire interval of solutions. So let's go ahead and do example number 1. Okay, so k is less than or equal to 4. So when I do my number line, all right, so you don't have to label like all the numbers, I just like put whatever number, just slap it on there, okay? And then it's less than or equal to. So because of the fact that it's or equal to, I'm just gonna put a solid dot there. Or you could put a bracket, but my issue with putting a bracket there is I haven't decided which way my bracket's facing yet. You know, I mean, you could, but. So then it's less than, so that means I'm gonna shade it to the left. So I'm shading all of those values of whatever variable that are less than 4, okay? And so as long as you have your variable on the left side of the inequality, your arrow would be pointing that same direction that the little inequality symbol is pointing. All right, and then, so then for interval notation, so that arrow is pointing towards negative infinity. So my interval notation, it's gonna say from negative infinity up to 4. So basically, k can be any real number from negative infinity up to 4. and then you put a bracket next to the 4. So that shows, yeah. So the fact that it has the little line like underneath the inequality symbol, that means or equal to. And so therefore I put a solid dot at that point on the number line, and therefore I put the squared bracket next to it on the interval notation. All right. So number 2 says y is greater than 3. So I'll make my little number line with 3 on it. And then this time I'm going to use an open circle because it doesn't have the or equal to part. And then greater than, so I'm going to shade it to the right. So my interval notation, so it's always like smaller to larger from left to right, just like it is on the number line. So it goes from 3 to infinity, that arrow is pointing to infinity. So it's going to be parentheses, 3, comma, infinity, parentheses. And you never put a bracket next to an infinity because x can't actually equal infinity. All right, so number 3. So again, I'm going to do my number line. So I've got 2 endpoints basically on this one. I've got, it's going from 3 to 5. So with the 3, it's going to have a solid circle because it has the or equal to. And then with the 5, it's going to have an open circle. And then we're going to shade the middle because it can be anything in between there. And for my interval notation, it would be bracket 3, comma 5, parentheses. All right. So number 4, so this time I actually have to solve it. So I need to add 8 to both sides. So just like with an equation, so just the only difference is right now, like instead of the equal sign, we have the inequality symbol. And so, you know, it's very similar to solving an equation. So we're just going to add 8 to both sides. That would be 3x is less than or equal to 15. And next I'm going to divide both sides by 3. Which gives me x is less than or equal to 5. So then I'm going to do my number line with a 5 on it. And it's going to be a solid dot there. And then it's x is less than, so I'm going to shade that to the left. And then my interval notation would be parentheses, negative infinity, comma 5, bracket. So on the test, I'm going to ask you to have both of those for your answer. You need the interval notation and the number line, and it'll tell you that in the instructions. Okay, number 5. All right, so we just need to divide both sides by -2. So that means we are dividing by a negative, which means we flip that inequality symbol. So instead of greater than now, it's going to say less than. So it's going to be m is less than -5. All right, and then we're gonna do the number line with a -5 on it. And then that's gonna be an open circle because it doesn't have the or equal to. And then we're gonna shade it to the left. Then we're gonna do the interval notation, negative infinity, comma, -5 with parentheses. All right, so number 6, the first thing we have to do is multiply both sides times -4. So then we're gonna have 2k minus 5 is less than -20. So we multiplied by a negative number, so we had to flip the inequality. Next, we would just add 5. So 2k. 2k is less than -15. Divide both sides by 2. So k is less than -7.5, basically 7.5. All right, so we do the number line, put the -7.5 on there. Then we're going to use an open circle and we're going to shade it to the left. And then for the interval notation, it would be negative infinity, comma, -7.5 with parentheses. Okay, number 7. So this is what you call a compound inequality, where it has like endpoints like on each end. So, but we probably want to go ahead and simplify the middle part there, first of all, by distributing the 2. So it's going to be 2z plus 4. So -6 is less than or equal to 2z plus 4, which is less than or equal to 16. Okay, so this inequality, instead of just having like the 2 sides, it has 3 sections. So we are going to subtract 4 from each of the 3 sections. So that would be -10 is less than or equal to 2z, which is less than or equal to 12. Then we need to divide each of those 3 sections by 2. So that would be -5 is less than or equal to z, which is less than or equal to 6. So then we will do the number line. So we're going to have the -5 on there and the 6 on there. And then they're both going to have solid circles. And we shade the middle. And then for the interval notation, it's going to be bracket -5, comma 6 bracket. Okay, number 8. Okay, so again, it's a compound inequality. First thing we need to do is subtract 3 from each of the 3 sections. So -1 is greater than -6x, which is greater than -6. Then we have to divide each of the 3 sections by -6. So that means each of those inequality symbols has to be flipped. So that'll be 6 is less than x, which is less than 1. Okay. So the number line. Oh, okay. I was like, wait, that doesn't make sense. 1/6 would be 1/6, not 6. Yeah, I was like, that doesn't make sense because 6 can't be smaller than 1. So let me fix that. It's 1/6. Okay, there we go. So then here we'll have 1/6, and here we'll have 1. And they're both going to have open circles, and then shade the middle. And then the interval notation would be parentheses 1/6, comma 1 with parentheses. Okay. Number 9 says, Scott Barnett scored 92 and 96 on his first 2 tests in methods in teaching mathematics. What score must he make on his 3rd test to keep an average of 90 or greater? Okay, so let's say, so we're going to say that X would represent his 3rd test score. So then his average would be 92 plus 96 plus X, all divided by 3. So that would represent his average. And we want it to be 90 or more. So we want it to be greater than or equal to 90. So we could go ahead and multiply both sides by 3. So that would cancel out. And I think we could go ahead and add 92 plus 96, which would equal 188. So I've got 188 plus X is greater than or equal to 270. 90 times 3 would be 270. And then let's subtract 188 from both sides. So that will give me X is greater than or equal to 82. All right. So there you go. He has to make at least, oops, oh no. All right, so you had to make at least an 82 to keep an A average, basically is what we're saying. All right. Number 10 says, Speedy Delivery finds that the cost to make X deliveries equals, C is equal to 3X plus 2,300, while the revenue produced from them, R, is equal to 550X. So C and R are in dollars. If a profit occurs only if revenue exceeds cost. Find the least whole number of units X that must be sold for each business to show a profit of the item described. Okay, so basically what they're saying is if you want to make a profit, your revenue has to be greater than the cost. So revenue has to be greater than cost to make any profit. All right, so in this case, they've told us that the revenue is 550X, and we want that to be greater than the cost, which is 3X plus 2,300. All right, so let's see, so we have to subtract 3X from both sides because we want to get X only on one side. Mm-hmm. 250X is greater than 2,300. And then we have to divide both sides by 250. Okay, so I would go, all right, so if we did, all right, so this would be like 250. So I moved the decimal point 2 times to the right. It'll be 230,000 over 250. We cancel out one of those zeros. So 25 goes into 23,000. So that would go 9 times. That would be 225, 5, 2, and that would be 0. So 920. So X has to be greater than 920. All right. Okay. So I did put due dates on your homework. Hopefully y'all have been doing them, even when they didn't have due dates on them. They are, so there's a bunch that are due on like the 22nd, I think. So if you haven't been keeping up with those, make sure you get on it. I'll see y'all tomorrow.